Jerry Beal here again, and this audio is entitled Judging Ourselves or Others Causes Our Useless Journeys of the Mind. Firstly, know this: whenever you feel problematic feelings, whenever you experience your feelings in a problematic way, the cause of those problematic feelings is always coming from the same one source, and that's your own problematic defining mind context about a person, about a condition, or about an event. But you've been ever so heavily and ever so incorrectly programmed to shift the blame to what you think of as a problematic person, or a problematic condition, or a problematic event, in coming away thinking that person, that condition, or that event is making me upset. That's the main reason, just a second here, that's the main reason to judge not, as the historical Jesus advised his followers, judge not. Also know this, that if Adam and Eve would have obeyed God in the Garden of Eden, if Adam and Eve would have obeyed God in the Garden of Eden and refused to accept the polarizing, categorizing of good and evil, right and wrong, moralistically, into their lives, there's every reason to believe we wouldn't be doing such a stupid thing in our lives either, running around judging. And thus we wouldn't be so heavily burdened nor so heavily involved in the horrible and illusory game of better and worse conditions and events are causing better and worse lives. In other words, judgment causes the illusion of better and worse conditions, better and worse people, and better and worse events. And there's no such thing as that, because there's no way to prove that with facts or truth. So we wouldn't have any versions of this makes me happy but that makes me upset in our portion of the mass mind to be dealing with in the first place. We wouldn't say that or this is making me upset. We would always know that it's us that's making us upset, because we used a problematic defining mind context. Except for when the care and keeping of bodies is the issue, and except for when the legal law is the issue, no one has any inherent right to judge at all. No one has any inherent right to judge either his senses of self, nor his sense of others, nor his sense of any arrangements of the conditions or events. The reason this is the case is firstly because there are no inherent meanings or definitions for anything at all. Nothing means anything, and anything means nothing as a matter of fact. And so how does anyone judge honestly or responsibly without any inherent meanings? Thus, judging honestly and responsibly, think about that statement, judging honestly and responsibly, is a contradiction in terms. So I wonder how judges in our legal courts think about that. I'd sure love to sit and talk to them about that. Judging in an honest and responsible way is a contradiction in terms. You're not using facts or truth. So it seems like we have to give anything and everything the meaning it has for us, or else we won't be able to tie the thing, which really is a symbol, into our ongoing storylines, to keep the mental world together in our mind as we have judged the world. In that sense, we all live in our own and separate worlds from each other. Believe me, I have felt those feelings many times. Beyond the care and keeping of bodies, and I mean the basic care and keeping of bodies, there are no factual or truthful measures or boundaries in which to honestly or responsibly tell others such things as, you aren't behaving as you should, or your behavior is immoral. If that came up for me, I would simply tell the person, if you can prove with facts and truth that my behavior isn't proper, or that my behavior is immoral, then you would have a good case against my behavior that you judge is bad, wrong, and unworthy. But if you can't prove it with facts or truth, then keep your mouth shut. For we need far fewer troublemakers and problem seekers in our lives than that, as a matter of fact. How would anyone use facts or truth in judging others various ways? How would anyone know, in using facts or truth, whether someone's behavior is moral or not? And what is the word moral, except just another interpretation that people are trying to push off as fact, especially religious people? When I was a young and growing up Mormon boy and young man, I stupidly went along with the other Mormons when it came to the statement of Jesus, "Judge not that you be not judged." We stupidly wondered, how can anyone not judge? We have to judge. Meaning, if we don't judge, how can we make sense of things? So to that point, A Course in Miracles says, don't try and make sense of a world without a cause that's real. Don't try and make sense of a world without a cause that's real. That's why acceptance is so important for peace on earth and a kindly human family. Meaning when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue. We just go ahead and accept things, and then there's no problems. Nobody's running around finding problems when the care and keeping of bodies is not the issue. But there is no doubt that the statement says, judge not, period. Jesus meant don't judge at all, whether, no matter what he said after that. And when Jesus went on to say that you be not judged, I didn't realize then that our sense of self-judgments that are negative or problematic, or in the case of religious notions, are sinful, cause the bad guy sense of self in us to be further strengthened and more enlivened. And those bad guys' sense of selves are alive in our mind, which requires our mind to give us the experience of our own self-judgments in our body world. Meaning with our body, we automatically express an experience according to what we think we are as the bad guy. What I'm saying is, if you didn't see anything, if you didn't see other people as bad guys, you wouldn't think of yourself as a bad guy either. It works both ways. That's why he said, as you judge, so shall you be judged, Believe me, I know all about those mind mechanics. I've studied it for over 25 years. If I could explain to a group of people how validating judgments in our lives causes all the useless journeys of our mind that we're involved in, causes all the useless journeys of the mind that we're involved in, especially relative to unreal problems, our social world would invalidate judgments, at least judgments about people, and that alone would cause a heaven on earth in the natural course of such an honest and truthful endeavor. Thanks for listening to this audio.